Settelen suggested that if she focused on the changes within herself, she would find her true passion.
If you weren't you, Princess Diana, would you like to be? What would you like to be?
I'd quite like to be a dancer.
Right. Coming to the end, though.
Yes, I know. But
Sorry, hon. You're,
I know.
So you're just about to become an ex-dancer. Now what are you going to do?
Well, it would have been an area with people.
She spoke, for example, of growing up in a home where she felt unwanted, desperate for affection.
My parents, they never said they loved me.
So you never knew that anyway?
No. There was always the kiss there. There was no hugs or anything like that.
Words. Diana was left with an emotional scar after one incident when she said she saw her father slap her mother.
They were upstairs in a spare bedroom, being arguing, the door was open, and I looked round it and I saw that. Years ago he said you sat on the doorstep, you didn't eat, you didn't bath, you didn't sleep, you just sat there, you just never spoke.
What she was doing was taking me back to being a little girl, and she was just honestly saying what that little girl did and how that little girl, not a girl, but a woman, ready to take on almost anybody.
Egged on by older sisters Jane and Sarah and younger brother Charles, Diana prepared to give her father a piece of their minds.
I was so angry, but Sarah said, right, Dutch, my nickname was Dutch, you go in and sort him out. He said, I want to explain to you why I've got marriage arranged. And I said, well, we don't like her. And he said, I know that, but you'll grow to love her, as I have. And I said, well, we won't. I kept saying we, not I. So it was a crusader here. And I got really angry. And if I remember rightly, I slapped him across the face. And I said, that's from all of us for hurting us, and walked out and slammed the door. And he followed me, and he got me by my wrist, turned me around, and said, don't you ever talk to me like that again. And I said, well, don't you ever do that to us again, and walked off.
Her world was shattered. It wasn't until her later teen years, reflected in the
Such, albeit there were a few who were shitting me, but they got so far, and then they were given the green light to push off, always.
Then, in the fall of 1977, not long after she turned 16, Diana met Prince Charles, who was 29. He was actually dating Diana's older sister, Sarah, and it was Sarah who invited Charles to visit Althorpe, the Spencer estate, for a weekend party.
I remember meeting him and feeling desperately sorry for him. That my sister was wrapped around his neck, because she's quite tough old thing. If she had her blinkers on, she'd get what she wanted. She wouldn't look out there, she'd just like that.
That weekend, Sarah wanted to show Charles the impressive art gallery at Althorpe.
And she said to me, do you know where the lights are? And I did know where the light switches were, they were hidden. So she was livid that I knew, and she didn't. So Charles said to me, well, why didn't you take me up there? I was getting these looks from Sarah. So I didn't care two hoots about who Charles was. I thought, poor old thing, but I wasn't impressed with anything around him. And I turned the lights on, and Sarah said, now you can go.
But Charles had taken notice of the teenage Diana, and his attraction to her would grow over time. As she told Peter Settelen that September afternoon, Charles's interest did wonders for her self-esteem.
It was the fact that an older man who was in a prominent position liked me, wanted to have me around.
A man?
Yes,
a man was prepared to talk to me rather than a boy?
Yes, I'm sure there's a lot of that.
Charles's relationship with Diana's sister never developed, and both he and Diana moved. The year was 1980, and Charles had just lost his great-uncle and close friend, Lord Mountbatten.
And I said, you must be so lonely. I said, it's pathetic watching you walking up the aisle at St. Paul's with Lord Mountbatten's coffin in front. I said, ghastly, I need someone beside you. Oh, wrong word. Whereupon he leapt upon me, started kissing me and everything. I thought, well, this is not what people do. And he was all over me, pressed the he followed me around, everything.
By 1980, when Diana was 19, she had fallen hard for the prince, even though she said he still had a lot to learn in the boyfriend department.
If he wasn't consistent with his courting abilities. He'd ring me up every day for a week and then he wouldn't speak to me for 3 weeks. Very odd. And I accepted that. I thought, fine, well, he knows where I am if he wants me. And the thrill when he used to ring up was so immense and intense, drive the other 3 girls in my flat crazy.
Diana realized the attention didn't leave her much time to reflect on whether this relationship was right for her.
It's like being sucked in, just people pushing and then people pulling, all in the same direction.
So you're being what, pushed by family?
Yeah, my family looked great, and so did my friends, and so did Charles's family. They liked me. They were very good to me when I was a guest.
What does that mean?
It means it changed when I was a daughter and the positions changed.
She was set on a course which a lot of other people thought would be lovely for her. And because she was quite naive, went ahead. But a bit of her was going, wait a minute, I'm not ready.
To come.
I'm amazed that she's been brave enough to take me on. And I suppose in love.
Of course.
Whatever in love means.
I was brought up in the sense that, you know, when you got engaged with someone, you loved them. And the most extraordinary thing is we had this ghastly interview the day we announced our engagement, and this ridiculous ITN man said, are you in love? So I thought, what a thick question. So I said, yes, of course we are, in the sort of fat, slow ranger that I was. And Charles turned around and said, what ever in love means. And that threw me completely. I thought, what a strange question.
What strange you thought?
God, it traumatised me.
It's a pivotal moment. It shows that he's ambivalent about it.
Given his blessing to the affair on the eve of a royal wedding, as long as Charles gave marriage to Diana a sporting chance.
My father-in-law said to my husband, if your marriage doesn't work out, you can always get back to her after 5 years, which is exactly, I mean, for real, I knew that had happened after 5 years. I knew something was happening before that.
The princess was seething, frustrated, and trapped in a life she knew was a lie.
She thought that he was seeing Camilla, and she said,
Way.
There's virtually no sexual relations between Charles.
Well, there was,
So,
but it was odd. Very odd, but it was there. And then it fizzled out about 7 years ago, 6 years ago.
Right.
7 was Harry, 8.
How do you know it was odd?
Instinct told me. It's just so odd. I don't know. There was no requirement for it from his case. Sort of once every 3 weeks look about it, and I kept thinking. And then I followed a pattern. He used to see his lady once every 3 weeks before he got married.
Consider how extraordinary this conversation is. This was only the second time Diana had ever met Peter Settelen. And here they are, Her Royal Highness.
And I was sobbing, and I said, what do I do? I'm coming to you, what do I do? And she said, I don't know what you should do. Charles was hopeless. And that was it. That was help. So I didn't go back to her again for help. Because I don't go back again if I don't get it the first time right. And they all blamed the failure of the marriage on the bulimia. And that's taken some time to get them to think differently. I said I was rejected, I didn't think I was good enough for this family, so I took it out on myself. I said I could have gone to alcohol, which would have been obvious. I could have been anorexic, which would have been even more obvious. I decided to do a more discreet thing, which ultimately wasn't discreet, but I chose to hurt myself instead of hurting all of you.
She was right that it wasn't discreet anymore. In 1986, Diana fainted at a public appearance and left her father for another man when Diana was only 6. It was the beginning of a bitter divorce and custody battle between her parents.
And you really didn't see your mother again until she came back married?
Well, she had to go away. The court said, if I'm right, she had to go away.
She's gone. Father didn't say where?
No.
She's just gone.
Diana was devastated after her mother left. Her feelings of abandonment only intensified when, after her 2 older sisters went off to boarding school, her father hired a series of nannies to attend to Diana and her younger brother Charles. Diana wanted nothing to do with them.
Did you just tantrum with them?
I made life very difficult for them.
In what way? Give me a
I suspect when I was jealous of the fact that they were going to be busy with making eyes at my father, and actually we wanted his attention, I think. Looking back, that was what I was on. We used to put pins underneath her cushion of her chair, so when she sat down, she sat on a pin cushion. We hid her clothes. One of them got engaged to someone, and then I chucked her ring down the drain. I mean, it was really nasty, spiteful stuff.
I was surprised.
What, that she talked about it, or?
That she revealed so much of her anger.
Her parents' breakup left young Diana desperate for love and affection. Her pain only deepened when her father placed her in a boarding school when she was 9.
And when he left, kissed me goodbye, that day I said to him, if you leave me now, you don't love me, which is a crippler, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But I meant it.
While at school, Diana said she struggled to overcome self-doubts created by family members who repeatedly told her she wasn't bright.
I was always told by my family that I was the thick one, that I was stupid, and that my brother was the clever one. And I was always so conscious of that. I used to go to heavens just crying, saying I wish I wasn't so stupid and thick. I wish my family thought a bit more of me. I remember doing that a lot.
That sense of inferiority was reflected in the results of her national high school exams.
What did you take?
They were English language, English literature, geography, art, history. I think that was it. Oh, biology. Really one of the biggest crunches in my life, which I don't find easy to discuss, was when I was 24, 25, I fell deeply in love with somebody who worked in this environment. And he was the greatest friend I've ever had.
She was quite honest, it seemed.
Settelen asked Diana whether she thought of the bodyguard as a kind of father figure.
Yeah, I suppose you could say I did, yes. I'm sure I did. I was like a little girl in front of him the whole time. Desperate for praise. Desperate.
Diana confided to Settelen that as she became closer to Manaki, she even half-joked about running away with him.
I mean, I was quite happy to give all this up. Well, not all this. At the time, it was quite something to have all this, just to go off and live with him.
13-year-old Diana and her younger brother Charles to deal with the tension alone on their weekends home from boarding school.
So you kind of were entrapped.
Yeah, we were, and I kept saying to Charles, when we're 16 and when we're 18, we'll be alone.
89, on the weekend of her brother Charles's wedding, an event attended by Diana's father, her stepmother, and her estranged mother, Frances.
And my father and stepmother refused to even say hello to my mother. And it got me so angry, the behaviour of these grown-ups, that I ploughed in and screamed at both my stepmother and my father. I said it was very bad manners, they were just indulging in themselves, and this was Charles's day, Victoria's. Do we have to live with the past every time, Mommy?
But the arguments with Rain raged on.
I was so angry, I wanted to drop my stepmother of mine because she brought such grief. And she kept saying to me, oh, but Diana, you're so unhappy in your own marriage, you're just jealous of Daddy's and my relationship. And jealousy was not high on the agenda, it was behaviour I was after. She said, you don't know how much we've suffered because of Francis. I said, suffering, Rain, you don't know the word. I see suffering of such magnitude in my role that you would never even understand. Sorry, push to your...
Okay.
Is that thing on? Hello.
Because suddenly...
Now he told her to use that same sense of humor to convey her message.
So what can you, in the media, do to help?
Currently concentrating very much on your charity work. Would you like to tell us why you feel it's so important to you?
I got nothing else to do.
She's awful. What's recording?
Sorry.
Take two.
Occasionally, Harry joined in.
So, have you recently met anybody that's actually touched you quite a lot in what they're going through?
Yesterday I come across Harry Shush. I come across a great deal of people who...
I was just treading water, waiting for it. I didn't know what it was, I didn't know where it was, but I knew I was different from my friends in where I was going.